23. I'm 23.
I am 23. So I have a couple theories as to why Gen Z does look a little bit older compared to millennials. But there are two that I genuinely think are the main reasons. The main culprit, the jewel. Vaping is terrible for you. And I feel like millennials got lucky because they're like the middle generation where they didn't get addicted to cigarettes and they didn't get addicted to vaping. However, Gen Z, they started early. They started real fucking early. I think I started vaping when I was like 15. Even till this day, now that I'm 23, I don't buy vapes, but when I'm around my friends, I still hit them. Most millennials, they don't vape and they don't smoke. And I think we genuinely forget how much smoking really, really ages your body. Yeah, cigarettes were a lot more toxic, but first of all, we don't know what the fuck is in these. Second of all, they still have nicotine, which still ages you. And third of all, they dehydrate the shit out of you. And when you're dehydrated, you're aging quicker, okay? So this is the main culprit, and I'll go into the second one right now. Trauma. I was born in the 2000s. My entire life, I grew up in a post 9/11 world. On top of that, we are the first generation to be born into social media. And social media, I feel like, changes a lot of things. Like, not only are we looking at new perspectives of seeing the world, we're also getting influenced by a lot of things. And we're also seeing what goes on in the world everywhere all the fucking time. And let's not even bring up school shootings and how they're literally all over social media by this point. And also the fact that we know that we're going into college for nothing. Because nothing is guaranteed for us, not even jobs. So while I do agree that millennials do tend to look a lot younger, especially because I have a 33-year-old sister, and when I'm next to her, we literally look the same age. She looks younger than I do. But I genuinely believe it's because Gen Z didn't get the chance to really linger in their teen bodies and middle school bodies because we were growing up so fast, because we were so connected to the outside world through social media and traumatic events. That and the nicotine is obviously not helping.
How Gen Z looks so much older than they are, and they don't understand why.
Yes, today I want to talk about what appears to be the accelerated aging of Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and why I think those things are happening, but I have to disagree with this original creator. I hate to say it, but it isn't because of vapes, because if you look at the stats, people historically have actually used more nicotine products than teenagers in recent years. Here we see nicotine and tobacco stats that the CDC reported in the 90s, which I compiled into a convenient little graph for you to look at. But as you can see, they kind of sat around 30%, and the average vape user for high schoolers is reported at about 25%, which is really sad considering we had downward trends until vaping was invented around this time off of the graph. But overall, if the stats are lower than historic years past, we cannot blame the aging directly on increased use when there isn't increased use. There are two things, though, that I think we could tie to the accelerated aging issue, and this is like the death of the pre-tween or the tween years. I remember when I was growing up, the tween years, which roughly fell between like 10 and 13, were huge. Like, we had entire stores dedicated to them. You know, we had Limited 2, which became Justice. We had all those specifically directed towards tween stores that encouraged kids to still kind of remain kids around that time period. Nowadays, there aren't really stores built for tweens, and the ones that we do have remaining are seen kind of as embarrassing if you shop there. And I especially saw this a lot with the Gen Alpha kids, like in my family and the ones that I nannied. Second, they start approaching middle school around that like 10 to 11 age. They want Abercrombie, they want Lululemon, they want all of the adult clothes. But I think an even bigger problem on this issue is that all of a sudden society is pressuring new kinds of Botox, injectables, and all sorts of plastic surgery on even younger people than ever before. And because a lot of these procedures are brand new, we don't have a lot of data for how they hold up over time. But I have suspicions that it's not going to go well. And we're already starting to see this in these unedited photos of celebrities that have been coming out who have really been leaning into these surgeries. And a specific one that's become really popular in the last few years is this buccal fat removal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. What it is that we have like these fat pads. I think it's underneath here. And as you can tell, that's what really like fills out my baby face. But celebrities are getting these removed to try and change like the shape of their face to be narrower. And it's creating this kind of interesting fish face effect that's really aging people. It's kind of like... And I have specific concerns about this one because usually this fat kind of goes away in time, and that's why people call it baby face, because you have a lot more of that when you're younger, and as you age, your face changes into this shape. I'll be really interested to see what these celebrities who are getting that removed look like when they're approaching like 50 and 60. And I'm not against aging here, but I really like my baby face, and I know that in time that will go away anyways. So we'll get there eventually. Why aren't we just enjoying the ride? But overall, keep in mind, Gen Z, that none of these concerns are new. I was watching In the City in an episode filmed in 2000, and they run into a group of 13-year-olds, and they're all like, they look like they're in their 20s, and it's this whole thing for the whole episode. So I think being scared of the younger generations is just a natural part of aging, you could say. I want to be clear that vaping and tobacco products are bad and they do age you significantly. And I think it's really sad that it was so high in the 90s and then we were really starting to come back down over there. But then in recent years with the invention of the vapes, it just skyrocketed back up. And that's so sad. We almost got rid of it. And I think about that every day as someone who managed to actually make it out of high school during that epidemic without doing that and whose entire friend group ended up doing that.
I thought she was early 30s. I am 23.
I don't want to speak for all millennials, so I will just speak for myself. The reason Gen Z looks older to me is because I just don't have a perception of age. So either you look really young, like younger than 12, or you look really old, like 87 or older. Anything in between that, I'm just going to assume you're my age. So I don't think they're doing anything to necessarily age themselves or make themselves look older. I just can't tell the difference.
Apparently, Gen Z is aging really rapidly.
It is mainly because of the stress. Come here. We live in a time nowadays where millennials look way younger for their age, while Gen Z looks way older for their age. If you don't believe me, I'm Gen Z. Get closer. I am Gen Z and nobody ever believes me. When my mom and I walk out in public, people think that my mom is my younger sister. Right. When I tell people, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my family, they think I'm talking about my children. I don't have kids. Right. I'm talking about my parents. I'm still the child. Does that make sense? I'll put it to you like this. Zendaya is older than me. Tom Holland is older than me. That's, you know what I'm saying right now? There was one time I wanted an autograph from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? I was standing for hours for this autograph. And when he walked up to me, I said, can you please sign this poster? It's for Jordan, right? He then took it and put, "Dear Jordan, your dad is a great guy. He stood out here for hours," and then gave it back to me. And before I can correct him, he looked at me and said, "Times were way more difficult back when we were kids, am I right?" And then he tapped my shoulder and left. Dwayne is 52. I am 26. What I'm saying is, so Gen Z definitely looks older. I'm not going to lie to you.
Guys, why does Gen Z look so much older than their age? Okay, everyone is talking about that. Be so fucking for real. If you feel like you look older than your age, these are the questions that you need to be asking yourself. For reference, I'm 32. I don't think I look older than my age because I can say with confidence that I have the right answer to all of these questions. So question number 1, are you putting sunscreen on your face and your chest and your hands every single day? I don't care whether you work in an office. I don't care whether it is raining. Are you doing that? Yes or no? Very simple. Same thing in the summertime or when you're on vacation. Are you laying out in the sun trying to get a suntan? Question number 2, are you also drinking water? And I mean a lot of water, 12 cups throughout the day, but especially first thing in the morning. It is very important. This is when your organs and your brain and your skin is your biggest organ, need water the most. So when you first wake up, you need to drink 2 large cups of water, ideally room temperature or a little bit warm. That is going to do absolute wonders for your skin. People also always ask me what's my highlighter? What's my makeup? I have foundation on right now and I have on a cream, blush, and bronzer, and that's it. I do not have highlighter on. This is because I drink a ton of water. It is so important, especially if you're noticing fine lines, any kind of premature signs of aging right here, especially that's because you are dehydrated, and it's the easiest fix in the entire world. Another really easy fix is, are you sleeping 8 or more hours every single night? Now, new moms, take it easy on yourself. You're fine. I'm going to be there at some point. But if you have a child who sleeps through the night, are you wasting time? Are you going to bed way too late, shopping online? I don't know. You need to be getting 8+ hours of sleep. Now, if you can answer all of those questions with confidence and you're like, no, I'm doing everything right, then you can jump over to my channel and we can talk about skincare. Until then, you need to focus on yourself first. Hope it helps.